away with his winner's certificate. Right, I'll pass it over to Andy. Hello!
Can everyone hear me all right? Yeah! Okay, I can hear you too. Can I have a bit more house lights on so I can see all these kids? House lights? Oh, thank you very much. Ah, turn them off again! Horrible! No, it's fine. It's fine. I just want to see you all so I can ask you if I'm talking to the right kids. Hands up here who likes reading books. Very good. Hands up who likes reading books late at night under the covers with a torch when they should be asleep. Hands up if you just like putting your hands up. Hands up if you don't like putting your hands up. Well, that's very weird. Okay, well, seeing as you've been so lovely and lots of you have voted for my book, I thought I would tell you a little bit about how I came to write the Mr. Gum books, because I always like books. I like books, I like books, I like books, I like books. Sometimes I lick books. But you see, there weren't always Mr. Gum books in the world. Today the world looks like this. But sometimes, back in the past, there weren't any Mr. Gum books. It used to look like this. But today it looks like this. But it used to look like this. So how did we go from here to here? I will tell you through the magic of telling you. You see, what happened was about 7 years ago, I didn't have any presents for my little cousins at Christmas. Oh, poor little cousins. No, don't worry about them, they're horrible children. Anyway, no, I didn't, they're nice children, so I thought I'd sit down and write them a story. And what I want to know here is hands up here who likes writing stories as well as reading. Okay, and there's two types of writing stories. One where you know everything that's going to happen. Hands up if you know everything that's going to happen before you begin. And how it's going to go, okay. And hands up if you just sort of make it up as you go along. Yeah! Well, that's what I did. I had one idea in my head. And my idea was that there would be a horrible old man who was nasty to everyone. And so I sat down on Christmas Eve and I started writing this story. And that's all I knew, was that there would be a horrible old man who was nasty to everyone. But as I wrote, on Christmas Eve, I kept writing and I kept writing and I kept writing, and all these other characters appeared, like, as well as Mr. Gum, who's the one I started with, Billy William the Butcher appeared, and then the little girl called Polly appeared, and then all these other characters, and at the end of all that writing, I'd actually finished my story that I was going to read to my little cousins on Christmas Day. And so if you want to start writing a book, how many ideas do you need? If you've got 0, not quite so good, but don't worry, soon a little idea will fly into your mind like a wasp. Sometimes it actually is a wasp, that's no good. Anyway, after I finished my story, it still wasn't a proper book in the shops, it was just some words on a computer screen, so I printed it off on the printer. Well, my name is Stanton and I like to tell stories. Sometimes I tell stories and I get all the glory. Sometimes I write stories about outer space. And sometimes I write stories about your face. So anyway, I took my story, which was printed off, and I read it to my little cousins on Christmas Day, just like I thought. Did my little cousins listen to me when I read it to them? No. Why not? Because your story is rubbish and you look like a tramp. No. They didn't listen to my story because it was Christmas Day and they were overexcited. They had eaten too much chocolate. All they wanted to do was run about all over the place, bounce off the walls and punch their little sister in the face. horrible children. So, I took my story back home and I forgot all about it. And I folded it up and I put it in a box. And then I folded up the box and I put it in my desk. And I folded up my desk. And I put it in my room. I folded up my room. And I put it in my street. Folded up my street. And I put it in London, where I live. Folded up London. And I put it in England. Folded up England. I put it in Britain. Folded up Britain, I put it in Europe. Folded up Europe and I put it in the world. Folded up the world and I put it in the universe. Folded up the universe, put it in my pocket. Now, and see, it wasn't until 2 years later when I was looking around my room that I found that story again. And I thought, oh, this is a good story. I thought, this is a good story. I thought, this is a good story. I thought, why am I talking like this? And I got my story, and then I sent it off to some publishers, and they are the ones who turned it into a real book. And that is how we went from this to this. And so I wanted to tell you that I'm really happy to get this award, and I'm really grateful for you all for reading my book. If you didn't vote for my book, get out! No, that's fine. There's loads of great books out there, and the important thing is to keep on reading as many books as you can. You can lick them if you like, but it's much more fun if you read them. There's plenty of good books, and then one day if you have one idea and you want to sit down and write a story too, you could be standing up here in a few years' time looking just as handsome and marvellous as me. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.